What's going on, y'all? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. Time for another episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit, featuring a very bright window that I wish I could cover, but you can't take those blinds down without breaking them. Haha. Today, I need the space for myself because, well, I ended up getting myself in a 1E game, so I needed to build a 1E character. So, today, Warpriest into the Feysworn Prestige class. If you're liking what you're seeing, remember to like, subscribe, ding the bell, stay caught up on all your stuff. Ooh, I needed that one this morning. For now, let's dive in. Okie dokie. First things first, as a disclaimer, if you are playing Wake the Rough Beast with me, this is going to contain spoilers. By virtue of meta knowledge, I in fact know some things you don't know. As I often say to members of the Pathfinder community, especially present day, the longer you stay in the community, the more you will see editions rise and fall. I don't know if I've ever said this professionally. I'm sure I've said things the opposite on several occasions. Let me retcon myself. My favorite tabletop role-playing game is the TTRPG that I played last. Almost all of them have their own merits and demerits, but it behooves us, those of us who are more experienced, veterans across several editions, if we want to continue playing them, and in case it wasn't abundantly clear, I want to continue playing first edition, that we both help it grow at the table with our words and actions. And in more complex games with newer players, it behooves us to, play into things to make sure that they have the best experience possible. My party includes a melee sorcerer, dragon disciple to be, a kineticist, and literally my is this year card caster Myrmidark Magus. God, that video is old. Follow this card. Evocation character sheet 3 times over behind me. So with that in mind, my build goals include something very durable, something that can both take and dish out punishment, a little bit of battlefield control with survivability because I will be responsible for my healing and everyone else's as well, kinetic healy things aside. Anyway, to accomplish this today, as it says on the tin, we will be playing 9 levels of Warpriest, 1 level of Monk, and 10 levels of the Feysworn Prestige class. Because in fact, the deity I'm choosing for this build is the Lost Prince, because they're the quest giver. I was gonna play something entirely different, but they're on the back burner as a backup now, because fun fact, kids, when the GM says, hey, here's someone who's going to be very, very important to the campaign, you lean in. The Warpriest will be unarchetyped, the Monk will be 1 level of Master of Many Styles for that sweet, sweet fuse style ability to get double value out of things, while also getting our Wisdom to our armor class. The Feysworn is where a lot of the extra cool stuff comes into play. To qualify, you must take the Fey Obedience feat. You must speak either Aklo, First Speech, or Sylvan. You must have 5 ranks in Knowledge the Plains, and you must worship one of the Eldest. Easy enough to do. It will knock 1 level off the casting of, in our case, Warpriest, but in return, first things first, the Fey-marked ability, which is hilarious. Upon death, you are immediately resurrected and transported to a location on the first world sacred to the eldest you worship, which might be somewhere in Neobaria. I don't know exactly what the GM is doing with this. Point is, it's a literal get out of death free card. From that point forward, the character is held in their living state only at the will of their deity, which I've basically signed up to serve anyway, so we're good. In return for that, as soon as you qualify, you are immune to any spell which is not capable of targeting Fey. Oops, I guess I can't enlarge person myself, but I can righteous might myself. The Prestige class also ticks up the obedience slightly faster. If I was getting into it before level 10, I could get access to shinier obedience things later, but that's fine. The Prestige class also, in what is the coolest narrative tool ever, automatically knows the closest in direction, if not distance, path to the nearest breach between the material world and the first world, when you gotta get the fuck out of Dodge. You also get DR over Cold Iron for a minute per Feysworn level, beginning at 2nd level. At 7th level, it becomes a constant. The summoning ability is cool. The ability to plane shift is cool. At 5th level, the Feysworn can get a +4 sacred bonus, stacks with everything bonus to 1 mental ability score. and on saving throws against mind affecting, but the Warpriest will be putting that right into their wisdom. I didn't see that when I chose this class. I just wanted the DR. That's so good. It's like a tiny baby barbarian rage, but for wisdom. Eventually it makes a chaos ability, the capstone of this build, centered on them, though they are always immune. Roll a D100. Is it a sunburst? Is it an earthquake? Is it a storm of vengeance? Maybe a reverse gravity? Who knows? For our race today, we will be playing a Samsarin. The GM has so graciously allowed us to choose our own ability score, boosts and unboosts. I went plus intelligence, plus wisdom, minus charisma, but mostly we are here for the mystic past life ability of the Samsarin race, which I feel like most Samsarin players really are here for. We replace our Shards of the Past ability with a number of spells equal to 1 plus our spellcasting class's key ability score bonus, our wisdom, spells from a different divine spellcaster's spell list. For our starting ability scores, we're looking at a strength of 12, so we're not just really bad until we get things later, a dexterity of 17 to qualify for things, a con of 12 and an int of 14, a wisdom of 18, and a charisma of 5. This means we begin play with 5 spells to add to our repertoire. I picked from the Hunter, choosing for flavor and narrative stuff, Goodberry and Plant Growth, and for optimization's sake, first Shillelagh, which transforms a non-magical quarterstaff, sacred weapon of the Lost Prince, my deity, into a +1 huge quarterstaff. Though it won't work once we make this magical, in low-level play, that's a terrifying 2d6 to spin around. Wood shape, as powerful as stone shape, but targeting things made out of wood. You know, if you ever need to just rip open a wooden building, break the mast of a ship, and everything in between. And lastly, Sense Vitals. Because this will be a 2-weapon fighting build with an unarmed strike, having the ability to get some precision damage out seems pretty darn good, especially with the Warpriest's Fervor ability, which will allow us to cast both Shillelagh and Sense Vitals as a swift action, since they only target us. Theoretically. Technically, Shillelagh targets the quarterstaff, not the person, but I feel like we're splitting hairs. For our traits today, Fate's Favored, classic for the Warpriest. Increasing any luck bonuses on us, you know, all those great Warpriest spells by +1. And reactionary because we're super boring and it's super good. Before we talk about our feats, first our blessings. I'm biased, I really like flavor text, but the Knowledge Blessing lets you, with a successful touch attack, gain information as if the result on the appropriate knowledge check to identify a creature was equal to 15 plus Warpriest level plus wisdom. This will eventually cap at somewhere in the low 30s. Knowledge checks will outrun this, but in low level play, if I can just walk up to the monster dead on the ground, tag it, hey, what's this? And a great way to get the plot narrated. The scary combat one, the Repose Blessing. At first level, hit a target with a touch attack, they are staggered for a round. If they were already staggered, they fall asleep for a round. Undead creatures are staggered for rounds equal to wisdom, which is really cool when you could put this on the conductive enchantment. Spend 2 uses of the ability when you whap somebody with a quarterstaff, and they've also lost huge portion of the action economy and might eventually just pass out. I will not be building Under Dragon in the Room this time because, well, I'm not GMing for it. But if I was, I would drop, I think, every feat that I'm taking because I have to in exchange for something along the lines of extra blessing, you know, if it existed, which it doesn't, and that's super rude. Let's talk about our feats. So at level 1, we'll be taking 2-weapon fighting, and we'll be running the 2-weapon fighting chain all the way up. Though we don't talk about it a lot, the quarterstaff is in fact a double weapon, which will be expensive to enchant later, but we also don't talk about the guided enchantment very much, which does not have the debuff of half modifier to damage with an offhand. Additionally, we of course get weapon focus with our deity's favored weapon at level 1, the quarterstaff, and my dear GM has allowed everyone a bonus feat at first level, for which I chose Cosmopolitan, which might be my favorite level 1 feat, if we're honest. I didn't know this existed until I was looking through forums. Cosmopolitan lets you speak and read 2 additional languages of your choice. You also get 2 intelligence, wisdom, or charisma-based skills, counting as class skills. If I wasn't dipping monk at level 2, this would have been like perception stealth. Because I am, it shakes out to knowledge planes, the thing I need to put ranks in to qualify for my prestige class, and if I'm honest, I still need to choose a knowledge check. We'll figure that out at some point. We'll take dodge at level 2 from our monk bonus feat, then snake style. Snake style not only gives us a +2 untyped bonus on sense motive checks and the ability to do piercing damage with our unarmed strikes. When an opponent targets us with a melee or ranged attack, we can spend an immediate action to make a sense motive check and use that as our AC or touch AC, which in low level play can be enormous. In high level play before magic items and things, this might even just straight up outrun your armor class. What's the other half of my master of many styles style, you may ask? After a bunch of pivoting, I landed on crane style. This decreases the fighting defensive penalty from -4 to -2, and nets as a +1 dodge bonus to our armor class. These, of course, get better as we level up. Combat reflexes is next on the list for some more attacks of opportunity. Ooh, are we gonna need it? Snake Sidewind will give us a +4 untyped bonus to CMD against trip combat maneuvers, and on acrobatics checks and saves to avoid being knocked prone. The kicker here, while using Snake Style, whenever you score a threat with your unarmed strike, you can make a sense motive check in place of the attack roll to confirm it, which, with penalties from things, may come up a much higher number for us. Whenever we score critical hits with our unarmed strikes, we can spend immediate actions if we want to, 5-foot step, even if we already 5-foot step this round. Crane Wing, when fighting defensively with at least one hand free, you get a +4 dodge bonus to your AC against melee attacks. Should a melee attack miss you by 4 or less, the dodge bonus falls off until the beginning of your next turn. If you're total defensing, you can deflect an attack that would normally hit you. Think deflect arrows, just it auto misses. I hear you all now, wait, you're 2-weapon fighting with a quarterstaff. You don't have a hand free. See, thing is, you can use a free action to alter your grip on a weapon as many times in a given round as your GM will let you. There are so many FAQs that are like, 1 is generally all you need. I think the exact example used is like wizard casts a spell, then regrips so they can attack of opportunity with their quarterstaff. In our case, the combat turn will often be like fight defensively, full attack, 2-weapon fighting plus unarmed strike, then adjust ourselves to a one-handed grip, then we have fulfilled the prerequisite of Crane Wing and we're off to the races. We'll take Fey Obedience at level 9. In the case of the Lost Prince, that means my poor sad boy must write down a memory on a piece of paper and then burn it. It must be a memory I have never used for this purpose or told anyone about. In return, it's a +4 sacred bonus to AC and CMD against attacks of opportunity provoked by moving out of a threatened space. This will give me Identify thrice a day, Locate object twice a day, or Crushing Despair once a day. The second boon, 3 times per day, as a standard action. I'll be able to alter a creature's memories as per Modify Memory, except that doing so takes only a standard action regardless of how much time is edited. By expending 2 uses of this ability at once, I can modify up to an hour. All 3 can modify up to a day. There's a lot of really cool roleplay potential there, and I'm very excited for it, as well as the once per day imprisonment. Fun. Then our next feat from our last Warpriest level. Snake Fang says when an opponent's attack misses you, you can make an unarmed strike against that opponent as an attack of opportunity. Remember, monks with improved unarmed strikes don't necessarily have to use their fists in 1E. You can headbutt them, you can kick them, you can tail whip them, whatever you got. Literally shake what your parents gave you. If this attack of opportunity hits, you can spend an immediate action to 2-for-1 them, which feels super good. Next, we'll take improved 2-weapon fighting, because we have to for the extra attack during a full attack routine, then power attack all the way at level 13 now for the buff to damage, then dual enchantment, which will allow us when we use our sacred weapon ability to make our weapon slightly more magical to get both ends of the double weapon, then greater 2-weapon fighting for another attack, then improved initiative, cause say it with me kids, if we got this far, why not? For our key magic items, the guided enchantment, once again, very good for our build, very staple, as well as truly the spell storing enchantment, both on our weapon and on our armor. The spell storing enchantment on either end of the quarterstaff, which we can give ourselves as a true neutral Warpriest, fun fact, lets us put as the easiest answer something along the lines of inflict or maybe cure spells if we're attacking the undead, into our weapon to be delivered when we hit with our weapon. The conductive enchantment, once again. We will also definitely want hand wraps to enchant to improve our unarmed strike. We will also definitely want the training enchantment, this time for weapon focus, choosing unarmed strikes, so our punches can tick up to that of a level 9 Warpriest. For our key spells, there are so many. Any Warpriest spell that grants a luck bonus, all huge. Several can be cast as swift actions to buff out our ability to pretend we're a full bad marshal. Both command and forbid action will help us fulfill the role of the pseudo tank as if this were an MMO. If someone gets past us, we can target a living creature with command, then give it the option to approach, force it to come walk back to us, maybe drop its weapon, maybe go prone. Eventually, the greater version of this at a 5th level spell for us will let us target multiple creatures, and the duration extends to rounds. Forbid action functions kinda in the same vein, stopping a target from moving, stopping a target from attacking, gives us some battlefield control that, again, with greater variant, can hit things in mass. Stunning Barrier, which is a swift action cast with Fervor, gives us both a +1 deflection bonus to AC and a +1 resistance bonus on saves, increasing to 2 at the greater version. Additionally, any creature that strikes you with a melee weapon is stunned for a round unless they pass a will save. The minor version is discharged after 1 charge is expended. The greater version runs off your caster level. It's like Stunning Fist, but on a spell. Also, we have Stunning Fist, so if you really want to stun them, you can. Things like Iron Skin will also be helpful. It's like Bark Skin for us, a +4 enhancement bonus to our existing natural armor, +1 for every 4 caster levels we have, and we can also dismiss this to negate critical hits or sneak attacks. And that basically sums up our choice of spells throughout the very wide diaspora. Truly, it's often said in my Discord by someone who will almost certainly DM me about this video and tell me all of the things I missed about how cool Warpriests are, that Warpriests can be built many different ways. You can have a group of Warpriests show up of 5 different deities and they'd all look super different. In the optimized party, this is meant to be a Punisher with a little bit of battlefield control, sometimes stunning people, sometimes stopping people, mostly locking people down so the big damage things behind me can do their job. Oh right, big 6, follow this card right up here, you definitely need them. I'm super looking forward to this build. I'm sure my GM won't just murder it into the ground because that would be mean, but that is all the time that I have for today. What do y'all think? Warpriest in 1st edition, do we like him? The Lost Prince in 1st edition, have we worshipped him? What did I miss? Let me know down in the comments, and as always my friends, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.